Hi guys, Teresa here. What I'm doing is I'm showing you the part of the convention from 2018 that had the veterinarian panel, so you can hear what they talked about during this panel. So if you bear with me here, I am going to try to go over and get that recorded. So let me share my screen. Let me see if I can find it. Hang on. I'm still here. I'm going to have to find it and then pop it a little bit bigger. So I'm minimized, and let me go over to it. I should have it saved. I'm going to have to pop it up bigger. So hang on a second. Okay, here we go. Let's hope that this works. It looks like it's about, I don't know. It's probably a half hour, 20 minutes. So enjoy.
It really is clear that we love our pets. In the U.S. alone, over 2/3 of the population, or about 85 million households, own a pet, and they are truly a part of our families. And that's not to mention the other large animals, as we've seen on the video, that have equal significance to us in our daily lives. Today, we have assembled some of the most renowned veterinarians who are pioneering the use and integration of holistic methods into their practice. And of course, they're using doTERRA essential oils daily with their patients and own beloved pets. I'm so excited to be able to host this panel. Let's meet them. Dr. Rourke.
Hey, everybody.
Woo! The EO vet.
I'm Dr. Gina Rourke. I'm a veterinarian in Austin, Texas. Where's my Texans? Love y'all. I own Hill Country Mobile Veterinary Service. It's an integrated practice that's mobile. It's a mixed animal practice, so I see a lot of different species of animals, and of course, I'm the essential oil vet on Facebook. I know a lot of y'all follow me. So. I've owned Hill Country Mobile Veterinary Service for about 9 years. I started using doTERRA only essential oils in my practice in about 2014. So.
Fantastic. Dr. Frezzo.
Hello, I'm Dr. Mia Frezzo. And I practice in New Jersey. So I own Animal Hospital of Hasbrouck Heights. And I'm happy to practice integrative medicine and use essential oils, only doTERRA oils, every day. Many of you may recognize that I co-authored the book, Spoil Your Pet, a practical guide to using essential oils in dogs and cats. And Jan Jeremiah and I are very proud of this book, and we are so happy to help each of you to practically use these oils in your daily homes. So I'm pleased to be here. Thank you.
Dr. Fisher.
Hi, I'm Dr. Janice Fisher. I'm from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, Canada.
Canada!
Woo! So I work in a practice, Full Circle Veterinary Alternatives. We are a complementary medicine practice, and I use acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine, rehabilitation, animal chiropractic, and of course, doTERRA essential oils every day in my practice to help the wellness and overall health of my pets.
Dr. McCaskill.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Larry McCaskill. I have a veterinary acupuncture and integrative medicine practice in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, home of the Fighting LSU Tigers.
Let's not get the rivalry going here.
We forgive you, Larry.
It's okay. Anyway, I've been a veterinarian now for over 37 years. The last 10 years, I've been practicing veterinary acupuncture and integrative medicine. It's been a life-changing event for me. One of the more challenging things I've ever done. It's also been one of the most rewarding things. I am a certified traditional Chinese veterinary medicine practitioner. My four modalities of certification are acupuncture, herbal medicine, Chinese herbal medicine, Tui Knop, Chinese massage technique, and food therapy. Now I have all these are tools that I use from my toolbox to help patients when the Western medicines aren't working, or they can't take them, or when you have a patient with an organ disease, kidney disease, heart disease, it's great adjuvant therapy and you have neurological patients that maybe require surgery. For some reason, they are not able to have surgery. It's a wonderful alternative, and it works very well. I call these all tools in my toolkit. Now I have a new tool in my toolkit.
Thank you.
It is doTERRA Essential Oils.
Thank you. Dr. Yamamoto.
Hello, I'm Dr. Jeanette Yamamoto, and I'm really, really excited to be here. I am an Oklahoma State University grad. I've been practicing veterinary, mostly small animal, for the last 16 years. I am currently at a practice in Castaic, California, about 30 miles north of Los Angeles. Golden State Vet Care, and been there about 3 years, but I've had 10 years in the emergency and critical care world where I did mostly Western medicine, and now for the last few years since I've been an advocate, I've been incorporating the oils into my practice on a regular basis, enjoying doTERRA oils, seeing the wonderful outcomes with my patients. And in addition to practice, I have an in-home euthanasia service as well, providing in-home support for families during that very sad time in their lives, and that's called Peaceful Pet Services, and also incorporating oils there as well to help with my patients as well as my clients. And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you. We're so excited to have all of you. So in January, I think many of us had seen the BuzzFeed story that hit the news, and about Ernie the cat, the 16-year-old cat that unfortunately became sickened, whether that was the essential oils or not, but definitely hit the news that diffusing or using oils around our pets that may or may not be safe. And I know that's when I first seen you, Dr. Rourke, in your car on your live stream, sort of reassuring the world. Do you want to talk to that moment a little bit?
Sure, yeah. That was a real, viral videos are a funny thing, right? And you can find anything you want to on the internet. And so when the Ernie the cat viral post went around, I was getting hundreds and hundreds of questions. People were, literally freaking out, not wanting to hurt their animals. And so I did that video on my way home from work, in my car with no makeup, and my hair is all frazzled, and it got, quite a few views. So hopefully I look a little better today.
Absolutely.
But I just, that was a weird case because the veterinarian gave antibiotics, and it wasn't really, the vet there probably didn't do anything wrong, but they weren't treating for a toxicity type of thing. And there was definitely some questions about the quality of the oil that was being diffused, and that sort of thing, and the quantity of the oil as well, which are certainly things that we need to factor in when we talk about safety with cats in particular.
So, just, a short answer, is it safe to use essential oils ourselves, diffusing topically around our pets?
Absolutely. If you use a little bit of common sense. So certainly not diffusing 20 drops of, Maluka in your diffuser. I don't know anyone that would really want to do that anyways, but certainly 3 to 4 drops in your diffuser, in a water-based diffuser like the Lumo or the pedal diffuser is perfectly safe.
Yeah. Dr. Frezzo, what do you think?
The quality and the purity of doTERRA essential oils makes them the most superior oils on the market. And to me, quality and purity are everything. So without those high standards, doTERRA wouldn't be the safest product you could possibly use for your dog or cat with confidence.
And I know we have a lot of DIYers out there, and there's been lots of questions that have been fielded around using DIY home care products. What are the thoughts around that, again, with our pets in the home, Dr. Fisher?
Well, I think that I love using the DIY products, using them as some of the cleaning products around the home. I think that that's actually one of the greatest benefits of using essential oils with our pets, because animals don't do well with synthetics. You know, they don't do well with those type of chemicals in their body. And when we're cleaning our homes, they're the ones that are walking along in their bare feet or walking on the counters after we've cleaned the counters. So I've loved the fact that I've switched over everything in my home to On Guard cleaning, and I feel way safer with my pets doing that than any of the other products that we were using before. So when people are concerned about using those DIY products with their pets, I kind of say, no, I think it's the exact opposite. I think it's much safer to be using these essential oil products than a lot of the other chemically laden products on the market.
Dr. Picasso.
I totally agree with Janice. Anything that's natural is going to always be better than something that's artificial, or trying to correct term I'm trying to use anyway. Anything natural is always going to be much better than anything that's produced chemically.
Nice. Dr. Yamamoto.
And I would agree, and I feel the same way, you know, as far as us utilizing it on ourselves. You know, if we put it on ourselves topically, it's going to be very safe if your animal's brushing up against you, if your dog's licking your leg. So, I mean, that's across the board, whether it be the cleaning products, yeah, anything synthetic or artificial is going to have issues with us. Of course, it's going to have issues with our pets, and they are more sensitive. And then going back to, you know, as far as diffusion, same thing, just what Dr. Rourke had mentioned, common sense, you know, that's what it is. We need to be maybe a little more sparing with what we're using when we're using it with our animals.
Fantastic. And so we've established, I guess it's safe to use the essential oils in our home for our own benefit. I'd like to pivot now to discussing kind of using essential oils with our animals, on our animals. And Dr. Fisher, what are your thoughts on that? I know you've all integrated them into your practice, but I know there's also concerns as well.
Absolutely. So I use them every day in my practice. As a rehab vet, I see a lot of patients that are recovering from surgeries. I have a lot of really active sport dogs in my practice. So they are always going out and doing absolutely foolish things. They might be super agile when they're doing their sport, but they can be pretty reckless with what they do with their bodies. So I have people keep little emergency kits for their animals. And one of the things that I have is for little cuts and abrasions. You know, we'll have, I'll get them to dilute lavender and frankincense for those. I like to keep it nice and simple with pets, and those ones work fantastic. They offer that little bit of soothing that you need. They offer that great support for the skin to heal. And with pets, we have to worry when they get itchy. A lot of times if things are healing, things will get really itchy. And for pets, the first thing they immediately start to do is chew or lick at the area, which makes it a lot worse. So having the benefit that the essential oils will help provide some soothing to that itchiness can really be very helpful.
Nice. What about dilution ratios? That's probably one of our most asked questions. And, you know, maybe talk to that, Dr. Rourke.
Sure, yeah. When we're talking about topical use with small animals, dogs and cats, we like to be a little bit more conservative, use them like sort of like we would use them for a small child. So a 1 to 3% ratio is really good, which is the equivalent of 3 to 6 drops in 10 milliliters of carrier oil.
Okay, and perhaps just continue with yourself a little bit. You know, there are questions kind of on the do use list, which hopefully we'll get to in a moment, but there's maybe some on the do not use. And again, tea tree or melaleucas come up a lot. Maybe just kind of speak to that a little more.
Absolutely. This is probably one of the more common questions I get, actually. So tea tree oil is one of those that's an extremely popular essential oil, and we've already spoken to the purity and potency and things like that. So where you get the melaleuca from is a really important thing. So I know all of you here use doTERRA, so you're like, well, ours is pure, right? But small animals, cats and dogs, do metabolize tea tree oil in particular a little bit differently. So we talked a little bit yesterday about the different pathways in the liver cells, and so animals have a little bit different pathways. And so That being said, it takes them a little bit longer to excrete Melaleuca from their system, which means it's a little bit use a little bit of caution with Melaleuca, and I usually tell people to just use something else instead, because we have so many amazing oils that have very similar therapeutic benefits that don't carry the risk that Melaleuca has for small animals. Now, I know all of us have probably on the panel have used Melaleuca in our practices, but these are very specific situations and scenarios. And so I usually tell people in their homes to just use something else. It's a little bit safer.
And what would that something else be, Dr. Fisher? Do you have ideas?
Yeah, I like to use a lot of geranium with pets. I find that that's a lot safer. So if I'm making any sort of blends where normally if I was doing it for my family or for my daughter, I'd use Melaleuca. For my pets, I just switch that over to use geranium. Or Arbor Vitae can be another one that's really great for a lot of conditions that we see in pets. And I find that that one is a little bit safer too. So it's not that I'd never use Melaleuca. It's just that I think that there's other safer alternatives. So I'll use those first, and if I'm not getting the results, I could always do something different, but I find that most of the time I get great results using those other essential oils, and so those are my go-tos.
Fantastic. Well, I think many of you have seen the Facebook post that Emily posted on her page a couple of weeks ago, and we literally had thousands of questions and responses and excitement, quite frankly, for the panel. I'm just going to get to some of those questions now, if that's okay with you. One of the main questions that we had was fleas and ticks, and how one might be able to deal with those with essential oils. Dr. Fresno, do you have any thoughts on that?
So fleas and ticks are a major concern for most pet owners. And in New Jersey, we need to protect our pets from fleas and ticks all year round. Several essential oils are safe and effective, and among them are Arbor Vitae, geranium, lemongrass, cedarwood, and rosemary. doTERRA has prepared for us a very convenient spray blend called TerraShield, and I go to this oil very commonly. I feel completely safe, and these oils are effective in preventing fleas and ticks in our pets.
So practically, how do we apply? When do we apply? You know, what's the kind of the protocol for that?
So each essential oil may be metabolized a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And in using these for fleas and ticks, we may need to reapply periodically so that we maintain our pet's protection. And I find that the easiest way to do that is to either lightly mist the pet and then gently distribute the oils with your hands, particularly on the legs and the underside. Alternatively, if your pet prefers, you can put the oils in the palms of your hands, rub your hands together, and then pet. I always like to keep every pet's experience positive. So you want to apply the oils in a way that your pet is happy and content, so that it's enjoyable and it's a nice bonding experience.
Nice. Well, one of the other, I would say, most asked questions is around anxiety. And, you know, they go to the park, they get anxious, 4th of July fireworks, they're anxious, they take time to recover from that. Dr. McCaskill, you sent through a lovely video of how you calm and relax your patients in your practice, and hopefully we're going to be able to tee that up here in a moment. Hopefully we can see it, and maybe you can talk us through the video here, how you go about that.
Perfect. If you'll look and see the video.
Is this your dog? Is this a patient or your dog?
This is my dog. If you'll notice, my hand is now pointing toward the diffuser. We diffuse continuously while we are working. I normally start with lavender, and we'll use Serenity and lavender. If we think we're having a real stressful day, we'll add frankincense to help us out a little bit there. You can see that the dog itself now, my tech, who is also my daughter, who's sitting right over there, yay, Megan. Anyway, you can see that she's applying to the pads of the feet, okay? She's, first of all, she's let the animal smell it. Some will accept it and love it. Some, like my dog, not crazy about it. I'll tell you a quick story about using Breathe with dog in just a second. But anyway, pads of the feet, you got it in your hands. You're going to put it on the, you can put it on the ears, not in the ears, on the tips of the ears. You can put it underneath the flesh of the skin of the abdomen. That works real well. And if you're going to use the coat and just coat the skin, you want to go against the grain of the hair. Quick story. I call it a war story. I snore, my dog snores. I have a diffuser next to my side of the bed. My wife has a diffuser next to her side of the bed. Okay, so every night, I have to fix the coffee pot every morning or the night before, so to get ready for the morning. She fixes the diffusers. She makes sure that we have plenty of breathe. Since we've been using breathe, the dog sleeps right next to my bed. Our snoring has decreased at least 75%. I'm serious. Try it.
Well, that's a fantastic story. I know, Dr. Yamamoto, we spoke a lot about seasonal threats. There's lots of questions coming our way. That, you know, and you mentioned California's 4 seasons, and you know, really, there's no real time for seasonal threats. It's all the time. And we have a lovely video of I think your pit bull Bella, and perhaps you can kind of talk us through that protocol.
So this is my pit bull Bella.
Aww.
So what I've done here prior to the video, in regards to seasonal threats, I used a single drop of lemon, a single drop of lavender, and a single drop of peppermint with some fractionated coconut oil, probably about, I would say, a teaspoon for her. She's approximately 60 pounds. And so doing essentially the same thing that Dr. McCaskill was doing with his lab is applying underneath, in between the toes, even on the top of the paws, inside essentially the tips of the ears, again, avoiding the ears, along the back with the hair, and then you can come back up against the grain, so you're working it into the skin. And then along her belly, she tends to have more issues there because there's less hair there. So she has more irritation if there's something that is a contact irritant for her. One of the big things as far as other applications, the same thing, lemon, lavender, peppermint, you can diffuse those with dogs. With cats, we do use a little caution as far as topical application of citrus oils. So we would switch out the lemon for lemongrass, even add in frankincense for cats, and do the same thing. A little higher dilution for cats is what I would recommend. One of the things too with dogs, when you're applying into the ears, the big thing, because you'll have dogs like Cocker Spaniels, Basset Hounds that will be seasonal threat prone. And so when you are applying inside the ear, just think when they go to shake their head, that's coming right into their eyes. So just use caution where you're applying that so they don't smack themselves in the eye with some oils, because same thing with us, you get in your eye, it stings pretty significantly. And so same kind of thing, just keep those things in mind.
Great. Dr. Fisher, I know you work a lot with sport dogs, and I guess it necessitates running through woods and things like that and picking up cuts and scrapes. There's another frequently asked question there. How do we treat those abrasions and minor cuts and scrapes?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was kind of alluding to before that not all my patients are super careful with their bodies, and so we will have issues like that. So I'll use things like I had mentioned about using a little bit of lavender and a little bit of frankincense, and then I also like adding in some myrrh for the cleansing and soothing properties of that, and then a little bit of helichrysum. Helichrysum is amazing, especially if there is a little bit of bleeding involved, and also just because it's so great with skin rejuvenation. And then that's one of the times that I'll also add in that geranium. And so I find that making a combination of those together is great. Mist it over the area in a diluted form. And I got a nice tip one time, I believe it was from you, Dr. Rourke, that instead of using fractionated coconut oil, because a lot of times those wounds can be a little bit moist, and so we don't necessarily want to be adding a lot of fractionated coconut oil to that. So I'll make that blend in a little bit of aloe vera juice. And I find that that's amazing and soothing and works great with pets.
Nice. Correct text.
That would be another option for sure.
And Dr. Frezzo, digestive health. I know you sent through just a lovely video of Peanut, which is actually one of your patients, right? Maybe you could talk to that a little more.
Is the video?
I think the video should be coming up momentarily.
So Peanut is one of my patients, and his family sent us this lovely video. He really enjoys getting his oils applied. His family says he asks for them, lies down, and says, "I'm ready." And he is doing wonderfully well and enjoying the experience every day. He's remarkable, and his clients are my clients, his family, is so happy that he loves his oils and he's feeling really well. So Digestin has been a terrific oil for him on a daily basis. More, he says, more, give me more, I'm not done. He's remarkable, and everybody is so happy he's feeling really well.
That's fantastic. It's the cutest video. I think we all want a bulldog now.
He is adorable.
Fantastic. Well, we had an interesting conversation. We had a question around how do I keep my fur soft and skin from drying out, but there was some more fundamental thoughts around that and on the wellness pyramid and so on. Dr. Fisher or Janet, do you want to talk to that? Or?
Sure. Skin health, just like with people and our health, the foundation of the wellness pyramid that doTERRA has is nutrition, right? And so we have our amazing lifelong vitality supplements and Terrazyme and PB Assist and those sorts of things to help us with our gut health and our nutrition. And the same goes with small animals. So gut health and nutrition is really the foundation of overall health, including in particular skin health. And so if you have an animal that has particularly dry skin or is really itchy, one of the things you really need to look at is that foundation of nutrition and some very easy ways you can support that regardless of what you're feeding is adding omega-3 supplementation as well as digestive enzymes and probiotics.
Fantastic. Go-to oils, day-to-day uses, Dr. Yamamoto?
I would reiterate that as far as, I think one of the questions with probiotics, every day, I think you want to have them in every day and high quality food. I think that's a big thing right now is there's so much variety out there. As a vet, it's kind of scary how much food is available. And so you want to try and hone it down to high quality, talk with your vet about it, make sure there's AAFCO certification, all those kinds of things. So yeah, making it the base of important.
Fantastic. And I know we spoke a lot about dilution ratios, and we actually had many questions coming about large animals, horses, cattle, etc., etc. I know a significant part of your practice is working with horses, and again, we have a video here. We can kind of talk through how you get the horse here.
Sure. This is Java. She's an eventing horse. Melissa's in the audience here. It's her horse. And this is Copaiba. So she has some muscle soreness, just general overall. She's licking it off my hands here. And let her smell it. Then we're going to go for topical application along the spine. That's a Flayman's response. That's a very positive response to essential oils with horses. It means she really likes it. She wants to hold the smell. And then we just apply it topically along the spine. I usually do 5 to 6 drops along the spine and then just rub it in very easily. Anyone can do this if you guys have horses. You don't have to be a vet.
Thank you.
And she loves it. So yeah, I love that doTERRA has some really amazing supportive blends for large animals. Things like Digestin for overall digestive support. I know that's a really big concern with horses. Aroma Touch is amazing for muscles and joints in our performance horses, as well as Copaiba, frankincense, Breathe for respiratory support. So I know there was maybe some people in the audience that might have been a little disappointed that there wasn't a pet line coming out this year. But we actually already have some really amazing oils that can support our animals. So
nice. Dr. McCaskill, any thoughts, closing thoughts, go-to oils for the audience here?
It makes sense to have frankincense.
Yeah.
That's right.
It makes sense to have frankincense. It's the number one oil as far as I'm concerned because it covers so many spectrums. For the people that have a little emergency home kits, can't go wrong with lavender. You can't go wrong with frankincense. You can't go wrong with myrrh. These are things that you can take care of cuts and bruises and scrapes. Especially since I'm an outdoor person and my dog is out in the woods a lot, I have the opportunity. I have made myself a little emergency kit for myself and the dog. So if it's good enough for me, it's certainly good enough for my dog. It's a wonderful product, wonderful product.
Dr. Fisher, you mentioned there's a 3-week waiting list to get in to see you. Obviously, there's huge demand for vets who use holistic practices. Recommendations for finding a vet in your area?
There certainly are some different websites for people that are certified in holistic medicine, like the American Holistic Veterinary Medical Association will have a list of holistic vets, so people could certainly look on there. And then I think that a lot of times just being honest with your veterinarian and talking to them about the fact that you are using essential oils, but explaining to them that you are using a therapeutic grade 100% pure essential oil and that you know that it is safe for veterinarians, and asking them to research it a little bit more themselves and to contact people like us. Any of us would be willing to talk to veterinarians. I work with them all the time to try to introduce the essential oils to other vets and just make them more aware. And having worked in a holistic practice for over 14 years, I can tell you that years ago, it was much more difficult for me to get regular veterinarians to be sort of interested in what we do. And now the newer generation of veterinarians that are coming out, and even some of the people that are working now, are much more open to it. So I think it's going to be easier for people to be honest with their veterinarians about what they're doing, and for their veterinarians to look for help if they don't have the knowledge themselves.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. We pretty much almost run out of time here. But, obviously it would be, we could really talk for hours and hours, really getting into, a lot more depth on what we can do as a company, what you can do as vets, and what we were, thinking, would it be something that, might be good for doTERRA to be able to offer as potentially an advisory board that could offer. Do you think this is a good idea? Where we could meet, maybe a couple of times a year, discuss best practices. You could connect and find ways to connect with everybody and really give some great advice. It sounds like everybody is on board with that, and the executive team is on board. And so I'm pleased to announce in 2018 that we're going to launch the official doTERRA Veterinary Advisory Board. How does everyone feel about that? So please join me in thanking our panelists. They've done a fantastic job, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Hey, I'm back. Wasn't that awesome? I love what they were sharing, and I hope you love it too, and you got some good information that's going to help you move forward with using the essential oils with your pets, your dogs, your cats. So let me know if you have any questions about that. Okay, thanks so much. I'm going to try to get out of this now. Let me see if I can back it up, and I'm going to stop the recording. Okay, thanks so much. Bye-bye.